Hello, welcome to my channel, Bow and Arrow Tarot. Today we're going to be doing the mid-July love check-in for the sign of Gemini. Alright, welcome back everyone, my regulars. If you're new to my channel, just breezing by, stopping by. This is the mid-month check-in where we take two angel oracle cards to see what the two energies are for this mid-month of July period. And then we pull out 9 cards for your relationship, all right? So this is definitely a look at love, right? For those of you who are in relationships or looking to be in relationships, searching for love, or if you're in a relationship you're trying to get out of, right? So we're going to see what the main theme is, what the major story is, all right? Hopefully for those of you tuning in so that something resonates with what you're going through. All right, Gemini. So show me Gemini's two energies this month. Stay optimistic about your love life. All right, get one more out. And children. So stay optimistic and children. At the bottom of the deck you have retreat. Interesting. So this could mean a lot of things. Sometimes children come up when a relationship is quite young, right? Quite new. But we're going to see what it's all about. We won't know until we get into the cards exactly what this means. And you have retreat here too. So certainly there's some indication of wanting to get away, right? So let's see what this is all about. We're going to pull out your 9 cards from the Waite-Smith deck, the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck. Show me what's going on with our beautiful Geminis this mid-July period. All right, it's going to be second and third week around about July. Show me what's going on for Gemini. We're checking in middle of July 2019. Give us some affirmations, reaffirmations, warning signs, things for our lovely air signs to watch out for. Show me. Show me. All right, Gemini. Let's get your cards out, all right? We've got, starting out the gate, 6 of Pentacles, Queen of Cups, the Magician, 2 of Swords. In the center, you have the Empress, and 8, Strength, Leo coming out. You have 9 of Wands, Ace of Cups, beautiful, and Ace of Wands. Certainly some new beginnings happening, right? All right, bottom of the deck, you have Queen of Wands. So the Queen of Wands, energy, kind of underneath all of this, right? Queen of Wands is very much the queen who's been through the fire, right? She's the fiery queen. She has been bold in her life. She's taken risks, right? She's been very ambitious. She's let her heart, lead her, her passion lead her. And so she's been through a lot of different scenarios, difficult situations, right? So she has a level of self-realization. She's learned to trust her intuition. She's learned to trust her gut, her wisdom, right? She can help you. She can lead you. She can guide you. But she's, careful. She's prudent of who she lets see her true nature to. She understands that people can really suck your energy. She understands the nature of like power play and power exchange, how people can kind of take your energy from you. So she's cautious of who she gives her hand to or who she gives her counsel to, right? So yeah, it's very much survivor energy, teacher energy, wanting to bestow lessons, certainly. So let's get right into your reading. 6 of Pentacles. So there's certainly most recently been a feeling of abundance, a level of income coming in where you feel like you have the ability to provide charity, the ability to help others. Six of Pentacles talks about helping those around you, family, friends, people who may need your assistance. Talks about having a relationship with your money and your wealth that's healthy, a healthy relationship. You're able to give. You're not a miser. You're not stingy or selfish. And not only that, you're in a position to be able to give, right? Oftentimes what can happen here, though, people end up coming to you, right? This can often be children, too. So it's interesting that children will come out on your romance oracle deck, because this can often indicate when you have to take care of children, when you have these type of, children are a constant drain on your finances, right? Even though the two characters aren't children, right? It can at times indicate that. But certainly most recently you've been a benefactor, you've been the one taking care of everybody. Certainly you've been the one taking care of the family. Everyone's coming to you for money, pocket money. I need this, I need that, Gemini, help me out. But Queen of Cups is here too, and I feel like there's somebody's come in most recently. Queen of Cups is very nurturing energy. I want to say this is also quite mothering energy. It could be a nurturer to you, someone who's coming in to maybe give you some support, give you some help. Certainly if children are involved, I almost feel like this might be your mom, your auntie, a good close friend. But this is very much like strong, female, loving, nurturing energy, right? Queen of Cups is very kind of like has her heart on her sleeve, right? But you're showing up in your reading as the Empress, certainly at the center. I believe this is you. So this individual, Queen of Cups, I think this is a friend of yours, right? Could also be the energy that's coming towards you from a lover, right? It doesn't matter really so much about the gender. But Queen of Cups, whenever somebody's in their Queen of Cups, it's as though they really truly understand their feelings. They've passed the Knight of Cups, the flightiness of the Knight of Cups, who isn't quite sure what he's feeling at any given moment, or at least he can't, he doesn't have a commitment, right? Queen of Cups has learned commitment. She's learned to be vulnerable, right? She's learned to truly understand her feelings. So when she tells you she cares, she means it. It's not going to change tomorrow or the next day like with the Knight of Cups. So it could very much be that also this is the energy of your lover coming in, your person, the person that you're dealing with. Because this is above you here over your Empress, right? Now, manifestation is coming in, the Magician. So also right now, not only are you being asked to give out money to take care of people financially, but it's almost as if you're the one in charge of having to take care of everything right now. You're having to make a lot of the decisions. You're having to manifest a lot of things, It's very much this kind of, I want to say, almost single parent energy or parent energy. That kind of running around. Everybody's always depending on you to fix everything, to make everything happen, right? And so that's why I'm wondering if this is a lover or maybe someone who's come in to help you. I feel intuitively more like the message is that this is someone who's come in to kind of help you with the children, because you're really being asked to do a lot, and it's like you're really feeling like the strain. That could be why the Retreat card is coming in, because you feel like you need a bit of a break, right? And I feel almost like this is a single parent, right? So this doesn't matter if you're mother or father, but I almost want to say this is like a single parent. Because also with Queen of Wands, it's like the Queen of Wands, if there is a card for the single mother, it would be the Queen of Wands, because she's very strong. She doesn't need the King of Wands, right? She doesn't need someone to be with her. She's kind of survived a lot on her own. She understands her own strength, right? Even in this picture, she's not really in her full glory. She hides a lot of her enlightenment, because, like I said, she's very prudent about, who she shows her true power to, right? But this is very much the kind of that mother enduring, making things happen, being strong energy. And so with the Magician as well coming in, I do feel like, you're being pulled a lot of ways. You're being pulled financially. You're also being pulled with a lot of responsibilities. And someone, I believe this is certainly someone coming in to help you, to support you, to assist you. Right now you're juggling, right? So you're kind of juggling two ideas as well. While you're dealing with the children, I feel like you're kind of in two minds about something. It's like you're trying to decide. You know, it could be, do I stay? Do I leave? Do I move? Do I not move? Do I keep this job? Don't I keep this job? You know, and it's like you're very much, right now, you're just stuck. You can't really make a decision. You can't differentiate which option is the best option for you right now. They both look as good as each other, so you're kind of in a holding pattern. It could be that the two options, and oftentimes with two, certainly with Two of Swords, it isn't so much making a choice, but it's understanding the duality of certain scenarios sometimes. Sometimes you can't make a choice because you really need to learn how to balance the two aspects of your life, or the two things in your life, rather than choosing one or the other, because it just seems that you can't. You almost, you know, you need them both in your life, and they both have equal measure. They weigh equally as importantly, so it's almost impossible to choose. And so when you're in that scenario, oftentimes it's really about trying to find a balance rather than that extreme of going from one to the other. Certainly in the center you have the Empress, and I think that's you coming in terms of, you know, even though you're being pulled a lot of different ways, and you're being asked to like take on a lot of responsibilities, you're being pulled, your finances are being pulled on, you still have a lot of confidence, Gemini. You still feel you're still feeling beautiful. You're not feeling like that run-down parent, right? You're still luxuriating in your beauty. You're still feeling quite, you're keeping yourself together. You know what I'm saying? You're keeping yourself together. You're keeping your body together, your mind together. You're staying healthy. You're not letting your life run you ragged. It's quite important for you to remain kind of with this, you know, sense of dignity. And so no matter how bad things get, you know, you're always putting your best face forward, and you do feel good. You feel right now quite sexy, and very much this is the divine feminine, right? This is the divine feminine. You know, the Empress is the mother, the divine feminine, the mother, you know. And not in as much as the Cancer mother energy, but just as in the Empress is the mother, right? And so strength is coming in. You're also showing a lot of strength is being called on, kind of strength to hold back your emotions, right? Kind of to temper yourself. I think a lot of this has to do with this kind of decision that you're trying to make, you know. You're trying to be calm. You're trying not to be too, like, you know, to fly off the handle. You're not trying to make any hasty decisions right now. It's like you're trying to really remain patient, remain calm, you know, remain strong within yourself, right? Interestingly enough, I wonder if this is a choice about a relationship or not, because up until now, this has all been very much you just kind of coping with a lot of stresses and strains of life. But this Two of Swords, we're going to get some clarity to see what this is all about. But so here we get into some of the meat of why you may have a decision, because you've got a Nine of Wands. So certainly it's been a long road, and you're kind of coming to the end of this road. And it could be that you may have been going through a long-term separation that's now ending in divorce, or you could have been going through a long-time divorce scenario, right, that's now finally ending. It could be just in general, it could be a length of time or stage in your life where you've just had a lot of scrapes and bruises, trials and tribulations. You see how beat up this character is, and right now it's almost like you're just taking a breather to look back on everything, and you're just about to finish this cycle, right? You're just about to take this last push. Nine of Wands is sort of like that last, you know, digging in and getting that last bit of energy to kind of complete a task, right? To complete something that has taken a long time, that's taken a lot of energy out of you. And so this could also be why it says stay optimistic about your love life. This could indicate, for instance, an example could be that for, you know, up until now you've either, you know, you've been going to school and dealing with the children, right? And along the way, you've had issues with probably, living, money, coming up with bill money, juggling the children, a job and school, things like that. Could be a scenario like that. It could be a scenario where you may have had children with someone who was quite abusive, perhaps. You left that person. And so this last period of time was a long struggle of you kind of getting back on your feet. And now you're just about to come to a period in your life where you're putting an end to the struggle and you're getting to the next stage, right? Something like that. So that's what I mean when I'm talking about Nine of Wands being a long struggle, a long period of a lot of hard work for you, that now it's kind of like the last little push, right? Perhaps the last little push to get to graduate, or the last little push to finally get that home that you wanted after having been moving around a lot, right? It could be the last little push that you need to finish your rehabilitation or your therapy or your counseling, whatever, you know what I mean? So that's what I mean about like this. Right now, you're almost taking a breather, you're reevaluating everything you've been through, and you're just about to complete this cycle. And so no wonder you've been kind of on hold with this decision. Until this cycle is completely done, you're not going to know how to handle this, right? And I feel like this is very much kind of in anticipation of closing this cycle. You're kind of like, well, this is all over. I'm going to have to decide, what do I do next? Where do I go? And so you're not really able to make that decision yet because you haven't really quite come to the end of this cycle. So don't put the cart before the horse. Make sure you finish off the cycle before you start thinking about the next stage, because you're really not going to be able to make that decision until this is done. And of course, no wonder strength is coming in, because strength is also needed very much when you're dealing with Nine of Wands. Strength being all about Leo fire energy, and Wands is fire. So it's like, that last kind of like, you're holding on to your emotions, you're holding on to your anxiety, your impatience. You know how when you get close to the finish line of something, you start to get impatient? Well, you're kind of like, almost like the Temperance card, but more or less it's taking more strength. It isn't so much temperance, but it's more like the strength to hold on until this is complete, right? At the end of this completion of this cycle, though, I feel you've got an opportunity finally for love coming in. So it's almost as if this completion here is going to finally open up your availability, your life's availability. There's going to be room in your life for love. It could be that, like I said, up until now, because you've been kind of on this road, this path, this long-term sort of responsibility that you've had to complete, you really haven't had room for love in your life. And no wonder it's staying optimistic about your love life, because I feel very much this is a Gemini who just hasn't had room for a relationship for quite some time. It's been very much about the children, taking care of the family, getting yourself back on your feet from whatever, or dealing with this long struggle. Whether it's you were off your feet or not, this long struggle is really taking everything out of you. And retreat is coming in, because I think after all of this, you will want to take a break, a rest. It could be also that this last little period, right, where you need to finish this, you're finishing off this cycle, you need to kind of retreat from everything else to dig deep and finish it off, right? It could be like you may be getting a little bit distracted by the things around you. So, it might be good in this last little stage of completion to kind of separate yourself a little bit, retreat a little bit from the world, so you can finally tie this off. This Queen of Cups, like I said, I feel very much is like an aunt, a mother, a good friend, someone, another sort of heavy feminine energy like you, the Empress, who's coming in to help you, to assist you. You have a lot of affection for this person, and this person has a lot of affection for you. But again, I don't necessarily feel this is to represent your partner or love interest. You're not really in the space to have a love interest until this is complete. And then here comes the Ace of Cups and the beginning of possibly a new relationship, a new passionate stage of your life. Ace of Wands is new relationships, new projects, new passions, new arts, new stages, inspiration that comes in, right? They get you moving forward, right? With fire and passion towards a new objective. It's quite beautiful. Let's get Some clarity from the beautiful Thoth deck. Show me some clarity on this beautiful mid-July reading for our Gemini. So we're just closing off a really long cycle. A lot of hard work they've put in. It's about to come to an end. And they're about to have room for love and a whole new stage in their life. So give us a little bit more clarity about this. Show me. My Geminis, let's get ready to clarify this. Alright, you have High Priestess, the Devil, Eight of Pentacles, Prudence, Ten of Pentacles, beautiful, the Moon, Five of Swords, Seven of Swords, interesting, Ten of Swords, completion, and the Queen of Wands coming in, right? There you go, coming in again. At the bottom, you have Five of Cups, so disappointment and relationships. So, yeah, High Priestess energy coming in, right? So, yeah, the High Priestess is also extremely self-confident. She has a lot of trust in her intuition, right? She's very magical and beautiful in that way that she's full of kind of the magic of life, as it were, right? The confidence, right? That intense wisdom, the high level of wisdom, a complete and utter belief in her gut feeling, right? And so it's quite interesting that she's coming out over this Six of Pentacles. So it's very much like, you know, what you're being called on to do. It's like you understand it. You understand why. You understand why you're the benefactor, why you're the one who has to be in charge, who has to take care of everything because nobody else can do it, right? But you have a lot of self-confidence. The Priestess is the highest card in the deck for self-confidence. And again, I feel like you're just, you know, being able to take care. It could be that up until now you didn't have these finances to take care of people as much as you would have liked. And so now that you're having them, you're just feeling this elated sense of self-confidence. You're feeling, you know, very good about yourself because whatever you've been working on or whatever you've done has certainly led you to this beautiful place where you can help your children, help those around you, provide charity to others. And it's just feeling very much in line with who you are and where you should be, right? So, yeah, even though it's been a long, hard road for you, you feel good. You, like I said, this Empress energy is feeling very self-confident. The Devil is here. So, Queen of Cups. Wow, isn't that something? So, the Devil is two things. It can be also dependencies, right? Being dependent. But it can also be a high level of creativity. The Devil also represents Capricorn energy, right? So creativity in works, you know, putting work, you know, into your creative passions, right? And it's interesting that the Devil will come out over this Queen of Cups. It could be that this individual who's coming in to help you out can be quite, maybe it may not necessarily be a mother or a family figure that is altogether healthy for you. Right? Could be very much that this person who's coming in, yeah, they're coming in to help you. They're coming in to assist with the kids. But, you know, even if it's like a good friend, a good family friend, or even still if it's a relative, it's almost as if, you know, this is kind of like your Thelma and Louise, right? This person, they're here to help, and they're, you know, they love you to pieces. They're very open with their feelings with you because you guys have a deep affection for each other, probably a very deep connection, whether it's just friendship or whether it is familial. But whenever they come around, it's kind of like, oh man, you know, it's like gonna be bittersweet, right? You know that for their help, there's a price to pay, right? And you can often get into this quite, and I don't want to say toxic, but you can get into this dangerous kind of like relationship or adventure almost, you know, with them whenever they're around. Like things just get a little bit chaotic, you know, there's a little bit more, you know, craziness, a little bit perhaps more partying or things like that, right? Because this person is, on the other hand, even though they're giving you a lot of love and support, they're also quite like, I don't know, they're just like your Thelma to your Louise. You know, when they're around, they just get you into kind of a headspace that isn't altogether the healthiest. It's devil energy. But I want to say it's that kind of cheeky, you know, hey, let's get up to some fun. It's not anything hardly nefarious, but it is tricky for you to deal with them because you do have children. It's very much one of those scenarios, like you love them being around, you love them helping with the kids, but you know the price that you have to pay, you know, for the chaos of them being around sometimes is a high price to pay, right? So Magician, again, Prudence, Eight of Pentacles. So here we go back to the money, right? Over here we had Six of Pentacles, taking care of the children. Again, like I said, it's as if everyone's coming to you to fix things, to take care of things, to make all the decisions. This is why I very much feel like this is a single parent energy. But along with that, you are showing prudence. You're being careful. You're not giving too much away. You're making sure that you save enough to nurture. You save enough for yourself, for your family. You save enough to make sure that your coin is okay, right? Because that Eight of Pentacles is about putting boundaries in place to make sure that your abundance keeps growing, right? That you don't lose it. So in the meantime, while you're taking care of all these things, you are certainly putting a lot of measures in place, and you know, you're strategizing to make sure that you can continue to provide for everyone. So you are being certainly very prudent. This Two of Swords, like I said, it's like you're starting to think ahead, because 10 of Pentacles is there, so that's like completion. That's your second 10. You've got 10 of Swords here, so it's like completion. You're thinking ahead with the Two of Swords. It's like you're thinking ahead to when you complete this cycle and move on with your life, right? And you're thinking about, you know, what to do next, you know, what to do next. Certainly when it comes to career and abundance, this completing this cycle could have a real effect on your career. But what's coming in is the 10 of Pentacles. There's a lot of wealth coming in, and a lot of options for abundance coming in. Just take your time with this. Don't make any decisions now, because you are in the middle of a process. And remember what I said, that once you realize Two of Swords is all about duality and balance, and rather than choosing one or the other, once you come to that conclusion, you come to the right decision that's going to bring the wealth in that you desire, right? Because that's what it's all about. It's like, do I go this way or that way? Which way is going to make me the most money, make me the happiest? But once you understand that, in a way, it's about balancing between the two. That's when you have the answer you need to get all that abundance coming in, right? The 10 of Coins there are arranged in the formation of the Tree of Life with the 10 Zephyroth. All right, at the center, again, so even though you've been going through a lot of hard times, like I said, you feel very beautiful. You're taking care of yourself. But interestingly enough, the moon is covering that. So it's like you have some trepidation about what's coming ahead. Moon energy is just being nervous. It's being unsettled, being unsure. I don't want to say scared, but slightly frightened about what's to come, you know, because you're dealing with areas in your life where you're not entirely sure if you're getting the whole picture, right? You're dealing with situations in your life that are bringing up issues about yourself that you haven't necessarily looked at, and so that's quite scary. You know, this next little journey, it's like you don't really know what's going to happen, but you know you have to take the journey. You know you have to finish this cycle, and so you're just feeling very kind of like right now, just a little bit unsure, a little bit unsettled, and nervous. And it's perfectly fine to be nervous, because whenever you're going through a long battle like this, right? This could, if I compare this to like going through a rehabilitation period, right? It's like okay, so now you're at the end of your rehabilitation. Whatever that rehabilitation is, whether it's mental, emotional, physical, after an accident or after addiction, whatever the case may be, right? There's lots of forms of rehabilitation. But let's say we're coming to the end of it, and you realize you still have to, you have this one last push to make. You feel confident because you know all of the hard work that you've put in. So you feel proud of yourself like you should with this Empress energy. But this last step, it's like, what comes after it? And what comes after it, you're not sure what comes after it, you know? You've been working so hard on this path to complete this path that now you're coming to the end of it. It's that feeling of like, well, now what next? What's next? You know, am I really ready to handle what's next? Am I really ready? You know, I don't know what's coming next. And it makes you nervous. And it's that kind of moon energy. You know what I mean? And so don't worry, you know, don't worry too much, because the one thing we do know about the moon is that once you go through this process, you realize that the only thing you had to fear was the fear itself. This is very much that card, you know. Moon energy is the fear you have when you start the journey, but as you go through the valley of the shadows of within yourself, within your life, and you go through that valley, and you look behind the rocks, and you look behind the crevices into the dark places of ourselves, you realize that there was nothing to fear. You realize that looking into those places, you've uncovered those sort of monsters in the closet and revealed them not to be monsters at all, revealed them to be harmless. And so you come out of this valley of darkness sort of enlightened, exalted, free from fear, realizing that there was never anything to be afraid of. And that is the moon card in essence. Strength is here because 5 of Swords, right? Defeat. You don't want to be defeated. 5 of Swords is power struggle, and you don't want to lose. You know, you're being strong, you're holding on, you're holding fast, because, you know, I'm sure 5 of Swords can indicate individuals who come in and try to throw you off your game, haters, outside energies that try to stop you. So of course you're being very strong right now, you're being very persistent, and the perfect energy for 5 of Swords is the Major Arcana 8, because that's all about knowing your strengths, your weaknesses, playing to those strengths, coming up with solutions to fortify your weaknesses, putting up boundaries where you need to, so that 5 of Swords energy that people put out doesn't affect you, right? So yeah, you're being strong because you know how rough the world can be. You certainly, because you've been going through this, right? So you're acutely aware of how people can try to take your energies, you know, try to mess up your scenario with, you know, nefarious means, backstabbing, lying, gossiping, all kinds of things to do with negative communication, since this is a Swords card, right? So 5, power struggles, Swords. So it's power struggles in ways that we communicate. So it's, you know, using communication to throw people off, to throw their plans off, to throw monkey wrenches in their plans. And in order to deal with that, you have to be very strong. Certainly, the 9 of Wands has been a difficult road, and along it, there's been a lot of futility. 7 of Swords, there's been a lot of times that, you know, you've tried something, it just hasn't worked. It just hasn't, you know, you've hit your head up against the wall. You know, 7 is the number for dreams and aspirations. And 7 of Swords is when, you know, when we cut corners to try to, it's when we cut corners to try to achieve those dreams. And then in the end, it's the hare, it's the rabbit and the hare. I'm sorry, the rabbit and the tortoise, right? What do they call that? The hare and the tortoise race? So the hare and the tortoise, one is very fast, one is considered to be very slow. But ultimately, it's the tortoise that wins. Why is it the tortoise that wins? Because slow and steady wins the race. The hare, or the rabbit, is constantly trying to cut corners. He's cheating, he's doing this, he's doing that. And ultimately, everything that he does is very futile. It doesn't work. It doesn't, no matter what he thinks, he feels like, of course, this is going to get me to my end quicker than the turtle. But because he's not being true, he's not being honest, he's constantly being pulled away from his goal, right? And the turtle's the one who makes it because he's steady, he's consistent, right? And he's fair, he's honest, he's doing it the right way, he's doing it the hard way. And ultimately, the hard way, the right way, is the fastest, quickest way. Even though it's a long path, it is the fastest, quickest way. It will always get you to your goal quicker than this kind of energy where you're kind of trying to cheat your way to your dreams, right? And so this is something I think that you've learned along the way. This is a big lesson that's come in for you along the way, right? The lesson is that, you know, when you put the work in, you really truly gain your dreams. And only with the work do you get to the end, do you get to the 10, do you get to the completion. And this has been a very valuable lesson, right? Because along the way, I'm sure there's come times where people have put things in your path that has kind of like, oh, here, do this, and you'll get, you know, you'll get money, you'll get that. You know, people have certainly, and it happens to all of us. I'm not saying just singling you out, Gemini. I'm just saying this is generally what happens to us, right? People do this to us. They tempt us, entice us to kind of take shortcuts, to cheat, or to be, you know, sometimes we follow offers that are too good, sound too good to be true because they are, you know, and these are all the various lessons that we learn along the road. And this is some of the lessons that you've learned. Coming to the end of this, you're ready for love because you are a new person. This whole journey has completely changed you. It's completely killed the old you. That's why Ten of Swords is ruin, because it's really ruin of the old you, the old ego, right? You have now, you've ascended. Your ego has, you've changed, right? You still have an ego, but it's different. Your ego has changed, you know. And when I say ego, I say the way we see ourselves, the way we conduct ourselves. Every single person has an ego, right? And that's not meant in a bad way. That's more in a you know, when I'm talking in terms of psychology, right? We all have this ego that we project. It's our personality we project, but it's not the same as it was before you went through all of these trials and tribulations. Now coming to this end, tying off, Ten of Swords certainly means that you've changed as a result of a lot of this as well. You've emotionally, spiritually changed, and that changing is allowing you to exercise the law of attraction at a higher level and bring in this beautiful cup of love that I think that for a long time you haven't allowed yourself to have. And here you are, coming in again as the Queen of Wands. All right. Now remember earlier I said the Queen of Wands here, you don't even see here in this image how exalted she is. In the Thoth deck you see that. You see, look how exalted the Queen of Wands is there. Right, she's radiating out of the crown to show that she is absolutely in touch with the spiritual, with the higher, right? She has next to her a panther, right, who's now changed into a leopard due to the fire that he's gone through. It's like his black skin is turned into leopard skin. Here you can see the black cat at her feet, right? And this is also, it's a symbolism for her deep-rooted understanding of mysticism, the occult, the spiritual side of life, right? Her intuitive side, the magic of life, right? Well, here in the Thoth deck, we see that same feline animal, but he's transformed. He's lost his black skin to almost have dotted skin, right? And it kind of almost, it's in a way to hide the full transformation, you know, to show the transformation. She herself, look how she's changed, you know, she's just on fire. And all of this is because she's literally, it's almost like baptism by fire. They call that. It's when you've been through so many different difficulties, right, that you're no longer the same person. You can never go back to being a page or a Knight of Wands. You're the Queen of Wands, and you've learned so many lessons. And now you're moving forward with such a strong kind of presence, right? This new evolved ego here as a result. And so you have Ace of Wands. You have the start of a whole new passionate side of life, right? A whole new creative side of life. This opens up the possibility for a strong new relationship, way of living, just a project, even moving to another place and having a beautiful creative job that fits right in with who you are. I love it that she comes out again to clarify, because ultimately you are the Empress at the center, but more than anything, you are the Queen of Wands who's gone through so much and now comes out the other side with, you know, just amazing inspiration and kind of like this elevation in wisdom, intuition, and self-confidence more than anything, right? So this is beautiful, okay? This is very, very beautiful. Like I said, you know, you're taking care of everybody, but stay optimistic about your love life, because as soon as you go through this period, it's coming in for you. Relationships are coming in for you. I know you've worried Five of Cups. You've worried about maybe not finding a love again, and maybe it's been a long time, and you're like, it's been such a long time, or, you know, anytime I do get involved, it doesn't quite work out. You know, you just have doubts because you've, you know, not been on that horse for a little while, as it were, but it's time to get back on that horse and to forget that. Five of Cups often indicates just wallowing and not necessarily, it's more disappointment than reality, right? The reality is that you have an Ace of Cups and you have a beautiful Ace of Wands coming in. All right? Gorgeous, gorgeous energy. All right, Gemini, I'm going to call it. This is your mid-July love reading. And interestingly enough, this hasn't been so much about love, but this is very much the Gemini who's single and who's finishing off a very important stage of your life. And as a result of finishing off this stage, you are bringing in a great, beautiful, deep cup of love. All right? All right, guys, if this resonated with you, sound off below in the comments. Like, subscribe, share. If you do all of that, it helps my channel to grow and allows me to keep giving you these readings, these beautiful readings that I enjoy doing so much. If you're not a subscriber and you just happened upon this video today, thank you so much for stopping by. You're always welcome. And I hope you come by again. If you decide to subscribe, don't forget to hit that bell so that you get notified on all of my videos, not just some of them. But for right now, Gemini, you know how much I love you. Have a wonderful mid-July, and I'll see you next month. Bye-bye.